Hello there and welcome. As always, this is Mikhail or Michael speaking, and before the video starts, I want to say thank you all who decided to support me financially, be it through Patreon, PayPal or Super Thanks. I really appreciate your help and support, so thank you friends and have a blessed day. Now, as tradition implies, today's video I will start with Kursk Oblast. And first things first, let's discuss recent Ukrainian incursions into Russian territory in this sector. In my last video, I mentioned how Ukrainians were continuously attacking in the direction of Medvezhye, as well as Obuchovka and Veselaya from recently captured village of Novy Put. Situation here remains to be difficult for the Russians, as Ukrainians attack relentlessly and without stop. For example, here on this video you can see Ukrainian tank and infantry fighting vehicle advancing along the open fields somewhere around this general area. You can also see that the tank is hit, and as the video continues you can see the other Russian drone hunting down the last remaining armor piece that was used in that attack. So in conclusion, when it comes to Veselaya, Obuchovka and Medvezhye, Ukrainian attacks are being repelled. However, Ukrainians are not giving up and pulling up more reinforcements. In fact, in support of those assaults, they recently crossed the border here and, as reports suggests, captured Krasnooktyabrskyi. However, those claims are too far and in between, so for now, as you can see, Krasnooktyabrskaya village remains in Russian control. Russian offensive around Karenevo continues, however, without a clear result. Despite Russians reaching the village of Lyubimovka, Tolstый Lug and Darina, Ukrainians are battling hard for the control of those said villages, because as I mentioned in my previous video, they are trying to stop Russians before they reach this road. And if they do, it would be a sure disaster for Ukrainian formations fighting in this general sector. So as of right now, battle for these three villages continues without clear victor. Recently, Russians were also reported attacking towards the villages of Martinovka and Mikhailovka. However, they were met with fierce Ukrainian resistance, and as of right now, the battles in this area are ongoing. Here, Russians are obviously trying to reach and perhaps recapture the city of Sudzha, because as of right now, it serves as a logistical hub for all of the Ukrainian formations fighting in Kursk Oblast. A lot of roads lead from it to all sectors of the front line, and with the fall of Sudzha, the fate of Ukrainian offensive in this area will surely be sealed. And obviously, understanding that for well, Ukrainians counter-attack here desperately. We have more clarification about situation within Borky village. After all, it seems Russians did successfully recapture the village, and this video serves as a proof of it. Borky is not the only village which Russians recaptured on this portion of the front. Small village of Spalne was also confirmed to be under Russian control, so the status of this village is finally clear. In conclusion, when talking about this particular portion of the front, Russians are greatly increasing pressure across all of this front, in the center, in the left flank, and as well as in the right, as Ukrainians are forced to abandon their desire for an offensive, dig in, and fight a positional style of warfare. So in conclusion, we are witnessing Russians winning initiative in Kursk Oblast. Now, at this point in time, I would like to know your opinion on this whole situation, whether I'm right in regards to the fact that Russians are gaining initiative and Ukrainians are now on a back foot. Again, your opinion is valuable to me, and although I don't always answer comments, I do read them all, so it would be very interesting to know your opinion. Also, while you're there, please consider supporting the video by any means you consider necessary. Thank you for considering it, and let's move on. From Kursk Oblast, let's move to Kupiansk frontline and quickly discuss situation around Tabaivka. In my last video, I mentioned how Russians were successful in their offensive across this open field in the direction of Pishchane, and how Ukrainian formations located on the heights above Tabaivka found themselves isolated and practically encircled. I also said that if nothing is done, Ukrainians would be forced to retreat. After all, it seems that is exactly what happened, and Russians successfully added this portion of the front line to their control, officially ending the battle for Tabaivka village. This recent Russian advance will surely help them to establish a bigger buffer zone around Kislivka and Kotlerivka, as now Ukrainian formations in this area had found themselves in a semi-encirclement as well. This isn't the only place where Russians advanced on this portion of the front. They were also successful in their attacks in the direction of Kolesnikivka, as they attacked towards this village along these open fields from the village of Pishchane, and as a result captured those territories. As you can see, they are not so big, however it puts them even closer to Kolesnikivka, so few more days of such fighting and Russians will enter this locality. From here, let's move all the way to the south towards Kurakhove frontline and discuss recent territorial changes here as well. Russian forces continued fighting within Maximilianivka village as they stormed towards the city center, and as a result of successful actions in this area, they were able to acquire control over this small portion of the city, which as you can see is practically just few blocks. However, again, that puts them even closer to the center of the village. In addition to that, they were able to capture the remaining portions of Georgievka village, capturing this big chunk of territory with the remaining portion of Georgievka. With it, Russians gain ability to attack along this road in the direction of Ukrainian strongholds located in this area. And with Gostre already in Russian control, Ukrainian formations located in this general area will have a hard time defending this sector. From here, let's move to Vuhledar and discuss recent Russian advances here as well. As a result of successful storming actions which Russian forces conducted right in between of Konstantinivka and Vodyane, in the general direction of Katerinovka and Antonivka, this portion of the front line came under Russian control, and as you can see, this is nothing good for Ukrainian forces. Not only Russians will be able to attack in the flank and rear of Ukrainian formations defending this small bridgehead, effectively closing it off, but now they are in direct contact with the village of Katerinovka and will surely storm it with support of the Russians already attacking from the village of Konstantinivka. So perhaps within few days the battle for both Katerinovka and Antonivka will begin. Let's also quickly discuss situation around the third coal mine. Although this map doesn't show it, however, recent report suggests that Russians completely captured and cleared this locality and found out that Ukrainians heavily mined this big tower that you see on the video. As soon as Russians cleared this place, they figured out that detonating the explosives would be safer than deactivating them. And here you can see a result of that happening. As you can see, the shots are quite spectacular. And with this, the battle for the third coal mine is officially over. Now, bypassing Vuhledar itself, let's move towards Zota Niva, which within the last few days found itself under heavy Russian bombardment, as you can see here on this video. Seemingly after Russians captured Prichistivka, Zota Niva became the next logical Russian target for their next assault, and it seems that those artillery strikes are meant to soften up Ukrainian defense. It seems that the battle for this locality might start very soon. From Zota Niva, let's move to Zaporizhia and discuss recent Russian advance around the village of Komyanske. Here in the past few days, they were able to successfully push Ukrainians away from fortifications here in this area by capturing this portion of the front. Now, at this point in time, I'm not sure whether this is a sign of more things to come or just a simple result of positional style of warfare. Both Russians and Ukrainians were highly inactive on this portion of the front line, but the recent territorial changes may bring some change. With this, I end today's video. Hopefully it was to your liking and was informative enough. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day, and always remember, Russia will be free and great.